Oh, hi folks, it's Robin here at 10 Minutes to Go. I've got another game for you today. It's a game review. Over the weekend, or just before the weekend, one of my students, Skywalker7, sent me a message and saying could I have a look at this game, because he was a bit frustrated that he felt he played well but just lost the game, had to resign it on after about 200 moves. And so I looked at the game. I've been through it once just to have a look, and it's very interesting, it's very instructive about how when we play moves, when we play stones on the board but they don't give us territory. And so I want to really talk about that principle throughout this review. So let's take a look at the game. So Skywalker7 is black in this game and plays the upper right, and he plays a 3-4 because he and I have been looking at and talking about the Chinese opening quite recently, both the high Chinese and the low Chinese. White plays a lower left 4-4, it's entirely normal. So black plays a 4-4 in the lower right, okay, and white plays an upper left D17 stone, a 3-4, and then black plays this one. And it's impossible on that this is only 5 stones on the board say that this is wrong, but it's slightly inconsistent. It's slightly inconsistent with the strategy, because the goal of the 3-4 stone here is to make a Shimari. That's why you're playing the 3-4 in that position, is because you want to make a corner enclosure and say those 15 points in the corner are mine. I'm banking them right at the start of the game, because white simply cannot get in there. So not a wrong move by Skywalker7, but a bit odd, not consistent with the overall strategy. So of course white then comes in and takes the point that black would like to play on, and again this is entirely normal. This is what we would expect, because actually your opponent's strongest defense point is also quite naturally your strongest attack point. So black pincers, which is a good move to squeeze white out. The white stone at P17 is now very weak, and white jumps out, and then black plays this one. I think again I'd have to say to Skywalker that this is just a bit too slow and it's too contacting early. If you want to develop this side, then head white off, because what you're threatening to do there is cut white off and cut white's escape here by playing next at that point. And I think your move here, the contact play, it's just a little bit early in the game to start that kind of fight, because you're going to provoke a response. And remember, whenever you attach to an enemy stone, you make it stronger. You just make it stronger, because you give up a liberty of yours in order to attach, so that both of those stones, the P15 stone and the Q15, now got 3 liberties each. But it's white's move, and so white can do something to disrupt you. And there comes in white. So white wedges in, threatening to cut black, but black has a response at Q17, and black connects. I can't knock that, and makes a thick shape. So all of the stones on the left hand side are now actually, they're doing pretty good. We've got some shape. We've just got this lonely stone up at N17. So white makes a Hanes and makes this shape. We call this shape the diamond or the triangle shape. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so then it's black's move. Black has Sente, and to my reading of this board, to my mind, I would like to see now black play somewhere, either around here directly to make a base for those black stones, or maybe approach, but the low approach isn't great here, because the stones are too low on the top side. So a very simple strategy for black would be to play something like this. In this case, black jumps down and makes a big shape move on the lower side. Again, I can't knock that. I can't. It's developing the stones rapidly. It's developing the stones around the 4-4 point and making a big double wing formation off that stone there at Q4. Can't knock it. White uses its 3-4 point, the D17, to make a Shimari and actually put some points in the corner there, and black extends, which I think is excellent. I think that's a very good move. So the 2 black stones on the top side are stable, the right side looks pretty strong and stable, and it's given up Sente to get that. But now what happens? So now white approaches, and white approaches to be expected, because white doesn't want black to jump again to somewhere around g17 and take that space up. So white comes in, and black needs to respond here, and black responds here. Now again, this is a difficult one to criticize directly, but actually just for 20Q players, Skywalker 7 is 20Q, he's been playing Go for about 6 months. This just makes a very strong, stable box. Remember that the knight move can always be cut, but in a box shape like that, there's very little white. White simply cannot wedge here because it has to run, and then black makes this kind of shape. It's very easy for black to make a shape there. So the knight move, if black was trying to build a position to attack the corner points, possibly, but I'm not a fan of that in this position. I think I would play much more simply if I were black, and I'd play something like this. But back to the game. Okay, so white comes out and also follows the knight move and makes this shape. I think this is good for white because white is now enclosing. We have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's lines 19 to 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 24, 25 points in the corner. And notice the difference here. Black has expended 3 stones here, and actually in terms of points has got maybe 1 or 2. White has expended 4 stones and has got 25 points. This is a huge difference in efficiency from between the two players, and this is a theme. This is part of the theme for this game. So black does a knight move, and I really am not a fan now of this. I think that I would sometimes when I say to my students, what you're doing here is creating a string of beads or a string of pearls. They're strung out, they're sort of connected, they need another shape move, they need something to go on in around this area to give them some shape, to give them some eye potential or eye shape, or maybe here would be better to actually then create a box. But the knight move is a bit ambitious because the knight move can be cut, and I would expect white now to make some kind of extension on the left. So white comes down and takes another corner in the lower left corner and strengthens that with a knight move, and black pops into the left side. I get the idea of what black's trying to do here, I really do, but I think this is a bit too close to white's strength. If we want to invade and reduce this side, then we're looking for a place like this, and you go, what's the significance of that? Why C9? Why C9 over any other? It's because the C9 stone has room to maneuver. If white comes here, then black comes there, and black can make a base on the lower side. Equally, if white comes in, say here, black can come here or here, or indeed here, though I think this one is probably slightly better. So you see how black has got some rooms to maneuver and white is split, and black stones on the left there are pretty strong. So I think the move that was played in the game is just too close to black's strength, and if it were me playing as white, then I would expect white simply to take that base away by playing somewhere around here, or maybe back a bit towards the corner, though C7, C10 there is a pretty fine stone. So what happened in the game? White pincered. To be expected, I think. To be expected. I think white is playing much better positional moves for the opening, and so black jumps out. And now we get the first really big example of what's going on here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stones on the board for black that are contributing 0 to black's territory. And here we have, to contrast, these white stones here are delivering about 25 points of territory and some real potential down on the lower left hand side. So these kind of shapes, just nothing's going to die here. And sometimes we worry about our stones being attacked and dying. Nothing's going to die, but notice how the black stones contribute almost nothing to the points total of black. And so white's got some pretty much guaranteed points in the top left, it's got some points in the lower left, and black has some good potential down in the lower right, but it's quite thin, very easy to invade. White can pile in at the 3-3 point down at R3, or break one of the sides. What does black do? Oh, so black jumped out, sorry, that was black's move, and so then white attached under. to connect the stone. I think a bigger move for white, you know, it's not, let's not just criticize one player here. A bigger move is something like this. That the corner's okay, and if you want to rescue this stone, if you want to give the stone some support, give it some backup in that kind of shape rather than attaching under, which seems a bit small to me. So black goes here. This doesn't stop white connecting, or doesn't disconnect white, and then black comes out here and white comes here. Not a great move. It's got leaves lots of cutting points that we'll talk about later. And then black plays here, and white then attaches to this stone. There is a lot around here, this Atari or this Atari, or particularly this sequence of black Atari here. Let's just go back and mark what this potential sequence. So for black, you know, this sequence, Atari, connect. Now what does white do? If white comes here, black will come here, and black has really put this group severely under attack. If white comes the other way in response to black's connection, then black comes down here, and then again white is broken apart, so that white's attachment underneath didn't really help black. But again, that's jumping ahead. Here white attached, and black made well, I can only say a bit of a wild move. The urgent move for black, the absolute urgent move, is this one, to actually support this stone and start to build what black clearly made the statement about, is a territory in this area of the board. So what does white do? Black jumps, and so abandons the stone on K4, and white comes in. So white attacks the corner and pincers, does a wide pincer on that black stone. So you kind of go, who's weak and who's strong here? So this move by black, by Skywalker 7, is a bit like, please don't hurt me. It's a kind of a cowering move, and actually black could easily play something like this. White comes up, black makes some territory, and this black stone is not yet out of commission. You know, there's a crosscut fight here that could get very messy for both sides, and these two stones, these two white stones, are yet weak, but black's now got some solid points. Although again, looking at the top of the board, we have to say that these guys here are contributing almost nothing to the fight. Okay, so let's go back to the game. So black cowered in the corner, and white just took the opportunity to pincer and knock out. So now, like, it looks like the whole of the lower side is starting to turn white, and given that black has got a big corner in the upper left, shaping the upper right, you know, and black's still not got any solid points, maybe we could count the points here, these dozen points here, here and here, as black's. So black comes up, that's okay, and white jumps. Notice this shape here is the shape that we were talking about here before black did the knight move. If black had played case 15, it's a similar shape. It's very strong. It's the way you develop towards the center when you've created a two space enclosure, a two stone jump on the third line. And black now really needs to stop white bridging under, because a play by white at K2 connects all of the stones on the lower edge. So black decides he wants to protect the left hand side, but the left hand side's pretty strong, and again we have to say it's black's move here. A black hane here, or indeed a hane on the other side, puts these stones under attack. It puts them under attack directly because it takes their base away. So they've got to run for eyes, and while they're running, black can do these kind of moves, these jump moves on the right hand side. And this is what we mean about profitable attack. This is, we're attacking the stones not just for the thrill of the hunt and to kill them and beat our opponents up. We're attacking to make profit, and that's one of the keys to go. So what happens after this move? So black does come up and make some profit, but the two black stones are at K4-3 are still super weak. White jumps up one more time, to give it some height, because white's going to come back and attack those two stones, I can tell, and black jumps one more time. Notice now black has got on this side 1, 2, 3, sorry that's the wrong count, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, by 9, that's 27, maybe 30 points of territory on that side. But the cost of that is first white attaches, black jumps out, and the jump out is just the wrong move. I mean, there's no danger for, Skywalker 7 is quite right to ignore white's move because there's no real danger for black in that, but it's actually this descent move, or this Hane, is the key move for black. And when black jumps out, then white simply jumps under, connects under. So all of the white stones on both sides, here, 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 are now all the connected, and the whole lower side. And again, notice apart from the 30 points that black has got in the right hand side, in this area here, and some potential here, black really doesn't have any points on this board. And then black jumps into the center. It's about direction of play. This is about direction of play. This isn't, again, this is not building anything, and I would expect, if it were me playing this game, I say thank you very much, I would just have these points on the left hand side, and black stones in the center aren't attacking anything because white's connected, and they're not building territory. They're not, it's can black build something in this area? Not really, given the presence of that white group. Okay, I'm going to keep this tight. So white plays here, not a great move by white. It's neither wedging at the cutting point or developing rapidly. It's nowhere near as good as the one that we've just spoken about, this one. But white plays here, and then black comes in. I think it's a good move by black, and it still has some potential to connect the black stones here, because the weakness is with this one here, and disrupt the left hand side. But it's going to be a tough fight for black to do that, and we may just end up, because I would expect now white in response to that one again to say thank you very much, I'll have the 30 points in the corner, thank you. So what happened in the game? So white Haned under, not a great move. I'd expect a Hane at B8 by black, but black's got something else in mind. Black attaches to the stone zone. This is a nice move because it's pushing white in two directions. It's saying, do you want to connect at B15? Do you want to connect your stones here? In which case I'm going to attack these two, or are you happy to give the others up? And we'll see what happens. So white wedges in, but then black cuts and Ataris. And the only thing that's wrong with this is it gives up what I think is the stronger Atari in this direction, which black will cut, and then we get this. And that really puts these guys under severe attack. And then all of these black stones, all of these, if they can kill that white group, then black has got a huge territory, and it's ripped that territory. It's not only created a huge territory on the upper and the upper side and the upper right side and upper left side, but it's taken it off its opponent, which is worth double, because you've not only made a big territory, you've stolen a big territory. But that's not what happens. So after this one, black cuts here, white connects, and black Hanes to take the 2, white Ataris, black connects. So black has cut the 3 stones, these guys here, away from the corner, which means that this stone, the black stone, is now a little bit close. We'd have really liked this stone to be not there, but somewhere like there, or maybe here, so that these come under very severe attack now. And that black stone is just a little bit close where it is, that one there, the one at here at C9. So white descends. That's not a sensible move. You can't kill the black group. Black's all connected. It's got an eye there, and actually I'd expect black to Hane, maintain the attack. Black comes out. I think this is a mistake, because notice the black Hane here. If white doesn't respond, white's going to lose the stone at white's going to lose this stone, the B stone, but if white does respond, then black's going to do something like this, and those white stones are now kind of owls in a sack. They've got nowhere to go. Their only direction to run is here, and black's already sitting waiting for their arrival with these stones. And now black's strategy makes some sense. Black's strategy says, okay, I played a stone in the center at K10, I played the other stone at K8, I've got my 3-stone wall down here, and I'm going to build a big center territory to compensate for what happened in the early part of the game. But this move just doesn't help, because guess what? White just dodges out and white connects all along the side. And now white has got all of the side territory and the black stones aren't doing anything. Great shame, missed opportunity. It was this move here was the bad move, the D9 stone. So white wedges in, black blocks, white hanes, black connects, fearing the cut, but you have to ask, are these two stones important to black strategy? Are they doing any work? Where's black aiming to get the territory from? Because having let white connect all along the edge, there's not a lot going on there now. So I don't think that the D7-6 stones are important. What's much more important is for black to do something to protect this kind of area, even though it's not going to be easy because white has access out into this from that side. Anyway, black connected there, so of course white ataried, black ran away, white connected, black jumped to protect the cutting point, white jumps, black blocks, white makes a bamboo joint, black blocks, white turns, black turns, white pushes, black pushes, white pushes. Notice now for black, and this is so important, that actually all of these points here, and let's mark them, this one, 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 these two here, these are all darling, they're all neutral, and this one too, so probably this one, they're all neutral points. So black's hard work, so black has now invested over on this left hand side here, we can count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 stones, and actually all black has got to show for it are these 2 points here, and we can't expect to have those kind of exchanges in Go. We can't expect to play 18 stones for 2 points and come out of the game winning at the end. So black plays there to block, and white changes its mind. This was a very bad move by white, because the sequence that white really should have been looking for is this turn, because with this turn what does black do? If black blocks here, white pushes, black blocks, white pushes, white connects, and the black stones below are all dead. They're absolutely dead. The ones above are fine, but this group here is going nowhere, it's dead, and at that point it's a resigned game. Equally, if black decides to protect here, then white pushes out, black blocks, and white can connect there, and again it's black can just about maybe make 2 eyes here. It's got an eye on the edge and should be able to make a second eye. If black plays here, then yeah, white can't throw in because black connects. So black has just about got 2 eyes, which means the situation's even worse, because black's invested all of those points for nothing, and then white's wall can launch an attack across the centre. So again, the big learning point, what's going on here? This was a big mistake by white, and black didn't see it and didn't correct it and jumped out there. White comes out here, and maybe white is now does have its eye on this group as a target for attack, that it might be able to attack profitably. So black comes there, white gets fearful but is also saying I'm ahead in this game. But both players have missed the A point as a vital point. It's vital for black to connect on it, and it's vital for white to push out on that one. So black fixes the situation, so it's done now. There is no cutting point. The cutting point's gone away, and black's in good black's in good shape, but without points. I was going to so white connects and black makes a shape move that it doesn't do anything really. It just doesn't do anything. It's just not a viable move. The points for black, one would be here. Black's got some very nice pushes down here to make white heavy and stop white getting the territory in between. But the territory is largely it's white's lower left corner is the big one now. Black plays here, white plays here, black plays here, white, black, and white's just pushing black around a bit here, and then white wedges here. Black should play at Q11. This one's giving shape to the black stones, but it's not aggressive enough. It's not aimed. There's nothing white needs to do in response to that because it's not threatening the cutting point. White does answer, black answers, and then white wedges in, and this was the point that black needed to defend, and then white comes along like that. And before we carry on and end this game, I just want to jump back a couple of dozen moves. Let's just jump back a couple of dozen moves around to this point, because I was going to say earlier, the thing that I wanted to explain is this shape in the top corner, because it's a very vulnerable shape for white, and actually this is too late in the game now because white has pushed out, and white has pushed out along the O line into black's territory. But this shape by white, this double tiger mouth, although it looks strong, actually isn't strong. It's very vulnerable to attack, and the vulnerability comes from a move like this, which white really can't allow black to push in. If white does something like this, black gets this move, white connects, and then black turns. And now what white has got is really bad shape, really heavy shape, and is going to have to run for the center without any eyes at all. And black can chase that shape and actually make good points on this side. You know, if white chases, black makes points on this side. So that's a super vulnerable shape. The alternative is if white blocks here, then black simply plays here, and again white turns, black comes out. White can try and make eyes here, but only ends up with one eye in the corner because of this shape. So this is really, really vulnerable. The problem for black in this game is that it left it too late to trigger that sequence. But just looking at this shape again, I just want you to appreciate how super vulnerable that shape is to an attack because of those two what we call nudge points, nozoki, where black can nudge, and black can nudge here and force white to close, and black can nudge here. In actual fact, the order is important too, because black needs to nudge here first because of the cut and then the turn, and then nudge here. So this is the kind of thing we would expect to see from black. Nudge, black, white, black turn, white come out, sorry, black come out, then white might make an eye, black block, white kill the two eyes in the corner, and then white starts to come out, and then black has this nudge again on this one, which white will answer, and then black jumps. And so black's making profit by attacking that, and that group still doesn't have an eye. And the problem at this stage in the game is now white's got these friendly stones, but earlier on black could have wiped out that group in the corner completely and secured the points. Anyway, let's get back to the game. It was just an important shape to demonstrate, so I'm just going to jump back to past this, back to where we were, and finish off this game. So I think we'd gotten to, there we go, yeah, now that white has penetrated, all of that of course has gone away. So black blocked and took the points underneath, white pressed in, black Atari'd, white came back, black cut, but this was a really forlorn cut by black at this point, because white simply Atari's and black extends, and white Atari's again, and now if black connects, white just reduces them to 2 liberties, and although black cuts on the outside, this is hopeless. White's got way too many liberties and the black stones are dead. So black cuts again on the outside and white pushes out. These moves by Skywalker 7, they're just now too close to thickness, and we're close to the end of the game in the resign game. So black pushes out and white secures the death of the 2 stones. Didn't need to do that, it was a bit built belt and braces. It would have been better at this stage for white just to have come out and taken some more territory and keep the liberties going, because there's nothing these black stones can do to get out of the hole that they're in. But nonetheless, white's won the game, so there was no need to do anything else. So white does this, black forces the matter, and white takes the stones. Black pushes, white pushes, and here white's just trampling the territory. So again, we have to look at all of this weight of stones, all of these black stones that black has now played around the centre, can have no more than between 5 and 10 points, and there must be 30 stones or more. And actually black's only substantial territory now is on the right hand side, which we know is now 3 by 9, 27, maybe 35 points. So what happens, just to end this game off, okay, so white's now just defending solidly. Black makes this move, white blocks, black comes up, white connects, black harness, white harness to destroy the shape. This was a bad move by black. There was a possibility for black here to maybe live. Black plays there, white probably needs to protect, black can push out, white, black, and there becomes a ko. Because the ko is here, if white cuts and are tarring the black stones, black can play the ko, and now white has got to come up with the ko threat, and notice that this is no good because black will simply take again, and it's still a ko. It's a ko-i. So going back 1, so white can't cut there. White needs a ko threat, and you know, white has got all sorts of ko threats on this board. But in this game, after white played, black jumped out, so now white gets a cut and Atari, so all of this is hopeless. Black's dead, black's dead, black's dead, black's still dead, dead. Atari, bamboo joint, take. Is there anything significant now? No, the game is long over. And none of these plays by black make anything. If we look back on this one, I know I'm skipping through this just to keep the pace up. Black plays, black needs to read. If black plays at G16, then what's white going to do? Then white's going to turn at H16, like this, because white's in Atari, and now black's in Atari. It's got 1 liberty, but black extends and it's still got 1 liberty. So white takes. These moves are nonsensical. They just don't make any sense. Black plays there, and that's the resign game. So I hope that was interesting. What the reason I wanted to review this game wasn't to have a go at Ash, because he's doing great as a new beginner Go player, but just say when we play Go, we tend to focus on the territory, but actually a large part of the game is identifying and attacking weak groups. And I give my students a worksheet that I will include in this video, where we look at what are the order of moves that we should be playing, which is actually every time we place a stone we should be asking ourselves, or certainly every 5 or 10 stones, and definitely once we're into the mid game, what's the balance of territory? Am I ahead or am I behind? If I'm ahead, great, all you need to do is hold on to what you've got and you've won the game. If you're behind, or the balance is even, then you're going to have to make some more territory, either by enclosing some points that are currently nobody's, or by taking some territory off your opponent by invading or reducing. And then finally, before we put that stone down on the board, we have to say, is there anything urgent? Is there anything that if I don't deal with it right now, really bad things are going to happen? So that's the kind of the flow chart that should help guide our moves in the game of Go. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for now. I don't want to go on for too long. I hope you enjoyed the review. It was a useful game to illustrate some of those points about how we place stones, that the stones might live but they contribute nothing in terms of territory, and that's a very dangerous place to go as a Go player. Okay, thanks for that. Hope you've enjoyed the review. If you like my style of teaching at 10 minutes to go, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe. Okay, thanks for that. See you soon. Bye for now.